Well, last night was the night of nights for accountants, the federal budget hand-down. Last night, Joe Hockey delivered his first budget as Treasurer and Mr Abbott's first as Prime Minister. He labelled it a contribute and build budget. He described it as an end to the age of entitlement, that it's not about self-interest, but about the national interest. And there's no doubt it's a tough budget. It's an expenditure-cutting budget. It's not as tough as Howard and Costello's first two that they handed down, nor Keating's in the 80s, but it's tough nonetheless. But you know what? The budget needs fixing. We've got a huge deficit, and I'm actually pleased the government has made some serious decisions in order to try to do that. I'm more concerned about strengthening Australia's economy than squabbling over whether election promises have been fulfilled or broken. This budget can be described as affecting everyone, all parts of society, students, families, pensioners, even the tax office, public servants and the ASIC are being cut. So let's have a look at the major points. Let's start with tax. From a tax perspective, the budget was actually fairly light on. There's a couple of major items. The temporary budget repair levy. So this is a 2% levy that has been placed on high income earners, so that's earning over $180,000 a year. It's temporary. It'll go for 3 years from 1 July 2014. Now, from a planning perspective and a tax saving perspective, it's on taxable income, so we're going to try and maximise deductions, reduce income so that levy will be reduced. The thing is also, it's meant to apply to high income earners, but it could affect people that actually earn less money. So if you sell an asset and have a capital gain in a particular year, or you take a lump sum out of your super and you're between 55 and 59, that could push you over, those one-offs could push you over the limit and you could be up for that levy too, so just be careful with that. The fuel excise indexation has been reintroduced, so it has been frozen for a little while. That basically means that we're all going to have to pay more for petrol, and I know we all hate that, but that additional revenue is going to be funneled into new infrastructure projects like road and rail, which creates more jobs, and they are much needed projects. A big one, the company tax rate is being proposed to be reduced from current 30% to 28.5% from 1 July 2015. And that is excellent news for small business in Australia. We've been waiting for this and I'm really excited that that's coming in. For companies that are earning more than 5 million turnover, that sort of reduction is going to be offset because they're going to be funding the paid parental scheme, which also comes in on that same date of 1 July 2015. So let's look at superannuation now. For the first time in ages, there wasn't a lot of changes to superannuation. We all breathed a sigh of relief. There's a couple, and one of them is particularly good. They announced that that horrible excess contributions tax is going to be a thing of the past. So that was where you'd inadvertently go over your limit of putting in non-concessional contributions, and you'd be slugged with a tax on that at the highest marginal rate, which is 45%, and in some cases 93%. So it was a total disaster. So they've got a mechanism where you can withdraw out the excess, which is a fantastic result for trustees of super funds. The other major super one was a rephasing in of the increase in the super guarantee. Now that of course is the compulsory super that employers pay for employees. It's currently 9.25%. So that's going to increase to 9.5% from 1 July 2014. It's going to stay at 9.5% until 30 June 2018, and it will ultimately increase to its aimed 12%, that's where the government's trying to get to, 1 July 2022. Now, it provides some certainty for employers, okay, that it's definitely coming in now because it was in, not in. They can start budgeting for cash flow now because it's going to affect their cash flow, and employees should start thinking if they're salary sacrificing about changing those arrangements to make sure that you don't go over your annual cap, which is bad. So let's have a look at Social Security now, and there was a lot of changes to Social Security. Probably one of the biggest ones was announcement of the increase in the age pension. So he confirmed his early announcement that the age pension will increase to 70 by the year 2035. So that means that those born after 1 January 1966, so you're currently 48 years or younger, you'll have to wait until you're 70 now before you're eligible for the age pension. Another big one was to do with the Commonwealth Seniors Health Card. A lot of people of pension age get that and it gives them a lot of benefits. They're including some extra things in the income threshold, so some untaxed super element will now be included. That pretty much means it's just going to be harder for some people to get that healthcare card. What else have they done? They've removed concessions for pensioners and senior card holders. At the moment, if you're a pensioner or a senior healthcare card holder, you get concessions on rates, electricity, public transport, taxis, which was all really cool stuff. They're abolishing that scheme. It's not clear yet exactly which concessions are going to be cut, but certainly a lot of them are going to be. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. There was also some changes made for job seekers. So from 1 January 2015, new applicants for New Start and Youth Allowance who are under 30 will have to wait 6 months now before receiving any benefits, which has never been the case. Also from 1 January 2015, the eligibility age for New Start and Sickness Allowance is going to increase from 22 to 24. Let's look at family assistance, and I know there's a lot of people around today, a lot of talk about these family assistance changes. So a good one, they confirmed that the paid parental leave scheme is going to come in. That's coming in 1 July 2015. That provides 6 months of paid leave plus super to people, which is fantastic. Although they have announced that the threshold to be eligible for that is going to be reduced from $150 down to $100,000. So it'll be a little bit more difficult to access that. Family tax benefit part B. The limit to access that has also been reduced from 150 down to 100, so that's going to knock out a lot of families from being eligible for that. And they've also made a change to Part B to limit it to families whose youngest child is under 6 from 1 July 2015. So they're tightening up that family tax benefit there. They're bringing in a new allowance called the New Family Tax Benefit Allowance. It's going to be paid to certain single parents over a 4-year period whose children are aged between 6 and 12, and that's going to be $750 for each child. They're also bringing in a 1-week waiting period for a lot of benefits. Currently, the 1-week waiting period applies to New Start and Sickness Allowance. That's going to be extended to Parenting Payment, Widow Allowance and Youth Allowance. Other measures. Well, you know, if you go to university, the government can actually pay for that for you, so you don't have to come up with the cash up front. That's called HECS or HELP scheme. And it gets repaid through the tax system. They're reducing the income threshold down where you have to start making those repayments. So for all the people that are going to be coming through uni, they're going to have to start repaying that back through the tax system when they're earning less than they currently are now. They've also brought in a new subsidy for employers hiring Australians that are over 50 that have been receiving support from the government for over 6 months. So employers may receive up to $10,000 over a 2-year period if they hire those employees. Look, one of the biggest ones they announced last night was that we're all going to have to kick in $7 every time we go to see the doctor, and I know there's a lot of disappointed people around about that. The additional revenue they've promised is going to be funded into a medical research fund, which is going to be apparently the largest in the world. So in summary, you can see there's a lot of changes and a lot of them have to do around welfare. But like Joe Hockey said last night, we're a country of lifters, not leaners in Australia. I believe that a mentality of entitlement is detrimental to the prosperity of our country. Every dollar that we hand out in welfare has to be earned and funded by other Australians. I think that if you can work, you should be working, or you're looking for work, and while you're looking for work, you need to be learning and skilling up. Yes, there are cuts to family assistance, but let's remember that family assistance is only supposed to be a supplement to your main income. Your job is your main income, and the supplement is only there to help. And it's small business that is the engine room of this country. I'm glad that there hasn't been major slugs to small business in this budget. Small business needs to get on with running and growing their business because, let's face it, that provides more jobs for everyone. I'm pleased the government has made some tough decisions and hopefully they're going to make some impact on the deficit. Look, the budget's always exciting and controversial. Remember also, these are all just announcements. They all have to actually go through Parliament to become law before anything is introduced. And the Labor government has already come out and announced that they'll be vigorously opposing a lot of these changes already. So we'll just have to watch this space. Now, if you would like more information on the budget or how it particularly affects you, please feel free to contact me. Until then, enjoy your business journey.